to my channel. Am I drinking iced coffee at nighttime? Yes, because I hate myself. So this is not the movie I was planning on doing this week. I know it's been a minute since I've done one in general, but I was actually working on a script for a completely different movie that I still, like, I already did the work, so I'm still going to do it. But I really needed to talk about this movie this week. I needed to get this out there. So can we talk about this? A few weeks ago, well, I guess it's been a while. Time's not real, okay? Just for the remainder of forever on this channel, just realize that for me, time is not real. And at some point in the past, I was watching the Lizzie Mcguire movie with my best friend, and we kind of came to this conclusion at the same time, and this realization that we had never had before, and it changed the entire viewing experience for me. Like, I still completely love this movie, and I'm not going to like shit on it, but we gonna talk about it because there's just one key thing that I did not realize all of the years that I've been watching this movie that makes complete sense, and now makes me want to smack everybody in this movie. So let's get into it. So the movie starts with Lizzie's younger brother, Matt. He's like doing this whole weird spy operation. And can I point out, just right off the bat, how absolutely weird and inappropriate all of Matt's behavior is, especially in regard to his sister. Like, it's not normal. It's not normal. And I don't have and never have had a younger brother, so like I don't know from personal experience, but I feel like it's weird for a boy to want so desperately to get into his sister's room, but it's fine, because we are very quickly like introduced to the movie with a very fun intro. There's lots of fun music. Was that song, The Tide is High? Oh, I love that song. So fun. And not gonna lie, every single time I watch this movie, I want to do the whole thing with her. Every girl wants you to be her man. And who does not enjoy a fun clothes trying on montage? It's so early 2000s and I enjoy it every single time. But I do also want to point out, Matt is still a weirdo because he's like sending this little toy car with a camera into her room, and she's trying on all of these outfits. Yeah, so that means she is taking off all of these outfits, and her weird ass little brother is just sitting in his room just like like it's gross. It's weird. It's weird. Ooh. Also, do y'all remember when Disney Channel had, like, on DisneyChannel.com, they had like all of them games, and they had the Lizzie Mcguire ones, and you could like paint her nails and shit, and it was so basic. It was so basic, and it was so fun. And like, you really didn't have that many options, but it felt like you were doing some shit. Those were the good old days. Okay, so now we are going to get to the part of the movie that like is key and that I missed all of these years and just kind of like ruined the movie for me. Like, it didn't ruin it. I am still going to watch this movie I own this movie on DVD. Like, I'm going to watch this movie several more times, but now I can't unknow. So now you guys get to know if you didn't already know. So we are walking into what I found out is Lizzie's middle school graduation. Like, she is going into high school, so she is in the 8th grade, which means she is 14 years old. Like, for the entirety of this movie, she is 14 years old. Just remember that, because I didn't know that. Like, it didn't click for me. It makes absolute sense. The series was about her navigating middle school, so it would make sense that the movie that came out after the series would be, you know, what comes after that, which is high school, which means she was still in middle school. She's 14. She's 14, which just makes my stranger danger senses super tingly all up in my butthole. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Also, who does an 8th grade graduation? Like, I've never heard of that before. I've heard of kindergarten graduations, obviously a high school graduation. I've even heard of 5th graders graduating, which I think is stupid, but I get it, it's cute, whatever. Like, nobody, this is middle school, nobody cares. Don't nobody wanna be here. I assumed that there was some behind the scenes something going on with the show or with the movie, which is why they didn't have Miranda in the movie. Like, there was probably something going on with Lelaine. They just said that she was in Mexico City in the movie, so she doesn't exist in the Lizzie McGuire cinematic universe for some odd reason. I didn't look it up. You can if you want to. If you haven't learned anything by now, I'm super lazy with that stuff, so you have fun. Anyway, so Lizzie's like series rival, Kate, shows up and like immediately tries to embarrass Lizzie. Just out of nowhere. No, didn't say nothing to nobody, just came up and is like trying to embarrass her for being an outfit repeater, which, like, yeah, bitch, she owned her clothes, so of course she's gonna wear it again. And y'all wearing the same thing. Like, you had to unzip her robe to even see it, so who cares? Like, it's an 8th grade graduation. Nobody cares. Nobody cares, hun. Just take your little award and go. She even does that thing where she, like, tries to be extra and is, like, pointing and looking around to see who reacts, and, like, there's a girl that acknowledges her. That's about it. And she just looked confused. And then Lizzie is informed that the class president is not going to be there because she's sick, so now she has to give this speech that she was not prepared to give, didn't know that she was like runner-up, or she wasn't even, she was like the 3rd person in line or some shit. She proceeds to give this like cringe-worthy impromptu speech, or attempts to, but being awkward and clumsy as she is, she ends up ripping down the background that's like behind everybody, and of course her brother is just there, camera at the ready, because of course he fucking was. The next scene is just Lizzie being dropped off at the airport, then introduced to the high school principal, Miss Ungermeyer, who was apparently going to be chaperoning the school trip for like a handful of 8th graders. And again, it's been a minute since I've been in high school, but principal doesn't usually do that, right? Like that seems weird, right? Like, they're usually not the person that goes on trips. I feel like the principal doesn't actually do much with the cheer-ins in general. But this one's gonna be supervising an entire trip of like, I don't know, like 25 kids by herself. And she very clearly hates children. Like, at one point, all of these parents are like bombarding her with information about their kids. Like, Jeremy's allergic to nuts, Shelly has asthma, Lucas don't like water. And she basically just like tells them to shut the fuck up and get out of her face because she ain't got time for all of that. So the flight takes off, and there's a couple minutes of Gordo and Lizzie just like being cute together. Then there's like a series of really, really nice shots of Italy on their way to the hotel, where Lizzie is informed that she unfortunately is going to have to share a room with Kate. Closer because my back was hurting. So the next day, the group is on a trip to the Trevi Fountain, and Ungermeyer is like telling them the history of the fountain and kind of like the lore, and how if you throw a coin in and you make a wish, then it will come true. She turns around, makes her wish, and when she opens her eyes, she sees Paolo. And he clearly thinks that she is somebody named Isabella. But just as quickly as they see each other, their respective friends kind of pull them apart and they're swept away, and Lizzie returns to the group. And old dude must have followed her because the class is now like walking down a street, and he just like swoops up behind her in front of this store. So he introduces himself and his friend, Sergey, and tells her that she looks a lot like his friend, Isabella. And like as he's telling her this, all of these people start swarming up and taking pictures, kind of asking for autographs, and she has no idea what's going on, just all confused, and he's just happy to let her be. Like all of these strangers are rushing up on her. Some lady gives her a big ass cheese. Paolo explains that Isabella is his singing partner, and that's why he mistook her for being Isabella, because they very clearly have the same faces, because, you know, it's just Hillary in a wig, so. And it bothers me, because the way they were walking down the street, like, so he announces who they are, and they look up to, like, this billboard that's just, like, right there, but the way they're walking down the street is, like, it would have been in front of you the whole time. It's a big-ass billboard, too. So it's like, you ain't see this big, you ain't see your face? You ain't see this big ass picture of your face? Stupid. And then, as she's like going on about her business with her school group, he's like, hey, can I see you again? And it's like, yes. Strange child that I just met and know nothing about and can see is very clearly with a school group, and that I have already established that I don't know and only looks like someone that I kind of know but haven't told you where they are or why they aren't here. Wanna go out? Later that night, Lizzie has apparently already found all of Paolo and Isabella's music and is like listening to it and gushing about how amazing it is, and like Gordo's just being awkward and adorable, because he always was. Lizzie tells him that Paolo wants to meet her the next day, and despite being so logical everywhere else, he's actually the one that encourages her to go out. Anyway, so he tells her that he's going to cover for her while she's gone, and the next morning she pretends to be sick so that she can ditch the group. So she meets him at the fountain, and they're just kind of like staring at each other. And it was fine, it was a little awkward, but honestly, I kind of wish it had gone on a little longer. She starts to tell him that, like, she really can't stay very long because, you know, she's on a school trip and she's 14, and he like, completely blows past it. And we going on a tangent here.
And no.
Paolo does a lot of this, and it's very subtle at first. The more I've seen this movie, though, on the last few days, the more it's like he's done it the entire time. It's like this, like, semi-gaslighty bullshit. And I really did not notice it the first time, but yeah, he does it the entire time. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry I embarrassed you by asking you out. You just, you know, usually when girls come to Rome, they want a little adventure. I'm sorry I overstepped. Like, you dickbag. And I legit believe the more I watch it, the more, I don't know how intentional it was and how much I'm like digging into this, and it doesn't matter. Y'all are already on this train. You're coming along with me. So when she walks up to the fountain, he's like got these kids making a wish with him, and he like tousles the hair of one of them. I'm gonna call him Jimmy because why the fuck not? And he tells Lizzie that like he had them wish for her to come, which that's weird, but also no the fuck you didn't. So the only reason that you brought those kids was so that you could pretend to, I don't like, this is gross. It's skeevy, and it feels like what he was doing was just like waiting for her to show up right before, like it all felt staged. All of it felt staged. Also, there's the point where like he kisses her hand with all of these paparazzi taking all these pictures. Like, she didn't notice. Obviously she didn't notice because she was all dreamy eyes, but I fucking noticed, and I know he fucking noticed. And I think he's just a big old piece of poo. Anyway, so she's like, you know, I can't be out long, but and then he blows right past it, and he's like, I want to show you something. And then he didn't even show her nothing but a fucking moped. Like, he takes her down all of these alleys and shit, and yes, they're nice alleys because they're Roman alleys, but they're fucking alleys. He takes her down all these alleys and corners and shit to a fucking moped. And it's like they ran through a sea of mopeds, but his is fucking red, so like that's exciting, I guess. Wow. Like, bitch, I'm in Rome. I don't give a fuck about no moped. And then we get some more very nice but completely unnecessary shots of Rome, because like y'all just did that 10 minutes ago. Cut back to the Mcguire house, where Matt is still only thinking about his sister, which is fucking weird. It's summer break. This kid's like what, 10, 11 max? Like, shouldn't he want to be outside, or if nothing else, like doing something somewhere? Like, they had games and shit. They had other shit to do. It wasn't that long ago. Like, why is he sitting in his room obsessing about his older sister? Like, it's weird. It's weird, right? And honestly, I don't know if his love for Lizzie or his best friend Melina's is worse, because she is just as involved in like the weirdness with her. I truly don't remember her as much on the show. Just, again, it's been a while. But I don't understand her character. I don't understand this character at all. Like, you don't even live here. Why are you so involved? You have no connection to her at all. Like, I don't know what they want. But it's definitely something that like needs to involve counselors, you know? Anyway, so we are back, and Lizzie and Paolo are still on that stupid ass moped. He finally tells her that Sergey is actually his bodyguard, which I don't know why he didn't just tell her that in the first place. Like, that's the one thing he didn't actually have to lie about, because you're already a pop star. Like, you're famous over there. Like, you made that very apparent from your first interaction. So why wouldn't you just say, this is my bodyguard? You know, like, it doesn't matter, but it doesn't make sense why you wouldn't tell her. Anyway, he tells her, and of course he paints it so it's like, you know, oh, between us, you're always going to be protected. And of course that sounds wonderful and dreamy to her. She's a girl. She's a 14-year-old girl. They get stuck behind this car, and that's when Lizzie realizes that the bus with the rest of her class is like right behind them. But it's fine. Luckily, Gordo sees her and like does his best to like try to distract Ungermeyer. But luckily, there was a break in the traffic and they escaped unnoticed. And now they're just kind of like walking through this cute little market next to a living Chucky doll. And then Lizzie asks Paolo like if he still loves Isabella, and he smiles at her in a way that like makes me feel like he's lying, but everything he says is a lie, so yeah. But he basically is like, yeah, I still love her, but like a sister. And Lizzie asks why they broke up, and it's like, well, because you don't date your sister. It then spews out some bullshit about how he wanted to do some more serious music, but Isabella didn't. And so he had to be like, well, fuck you, we're breaking up. Which doesn't even make sense, because you could just like not make music together. But he does this like super annoying, I hate this character so much, but he does this whole thing where it's like, no, I want to tell you, but like, I don't want to tell you, but oh, I'm struggling with it. And she's like pulling teeth to get him to tell her a thing he very clearly wants to fucking tell her.
How crazy could it be? Just tell me.
No, I can't. It's too...
Please.
Okay.
And he basically says that when he saw her for the first time, he had this crazy idea that he was going to have her pretend to be Isabella so that they could present a music award at this festival. Because, you know, since they broke up, she doesn't want to work with him anymore. Instead of just saying like, oh, we can't present, or saying anything that a PR person would normally say, he's like, I'm just going to use this random 14-year-old American child that I don't know anything about and put her on stage to pretend to be this woman that is not dead or missing, and for some reason won't see this award at any point. What was his plan? He's like, if we don't do it, she's going to be sued, but that's not a problem because I write all the music. And it's like, that doesn't even matter, dude. Like, you're a duo, right? So I would imagine that you're booked as a duo, right? So if she's getting sued, then you would be getting sued. And if you're booked separately, then I would imagine that would be fine. And then she would just, you know, say that she's not doing it, which I assume if you're booked separately and she wasn't going to do it, her people would just say, I'm not going to do it. Like, none of it makes any sense. Like, if you could have just done it, you would have just done it. He goes on to say that Isabella is actually not a good singer at all, and that she has been lip syncing all of the songs. And the only reason that he's really trying to help her at all is to help her save face and protect her career, because he still loves her. He doesn't want anybody to know. He basically wants Lizzie to pretend to be Isabella, present this award, and then I don't fucking know. There was nothing else after that. There was nothing. It was just, you're gonna show up, pretend to be her. Then she tells him that she can't because she doesn't have, a great track record with presenting things or being on stage in general. Somehow he convinces her, without even really trying, that she'll be great, and she agrees. Later on, she of course has to go and tell Gordo everything that's going on and like what she was asked to do. And she's going on about how amazing Paolo is, and he's such a great guy, he's so sweet, and he's so wonderful for wanting to do this for Isabella. And Gordo like points out that you've barely known this dude like a day. And I like that. I appreciate that. Gordo is, when he's salty, he spits straight facts. Also, I feel like most of the day that they did spend together was on that stupid ass moped, so it was probably all windy. You didn't hear shit. You don't know him. It's like, the only time you spoke was just him asking you to do this crazy, amazing thing that you are not qualified for and don't want to do at all. Also, I guess Paolo is like 17, but could have fooled me because I straight up thought he was 32. Anyway, Ethan, y'all remember Ethan? Ethan Kraft from the Kraft dynasty. Ethan was pointing out that Gordo was very clearly in love with Lizzie and jealous of Paolo, and he's just fighting it. Like, we knew that. We can all see that, sir. We knew that when you were on the plane. Why else did they put that scene in there? And we are once again at the Mcguire house. Matt and Melina are still creeping on all things Lizzie. They're like cruising Italian media sites for news involving his sister for some reason. Like, it just doesn't make it. What did you think how did you think that was gonna work? Like, they were hoping she would just like do something that was so big it would be newsworthy, but only so in Italy. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. She's not a celebrity or participating in anything important that we know of or that they know of. Like, she's just a normal ass teenager on vacation. Why on earth would you hear anything that happened on her trip on the news? There is no social media at this point. Like, the fact that they just so happened to find a random clip of a random Italian pop star that only looks like his sister in the face and didn't actually do anything newsworthy. She just like is famous. Like, that was an absolute fluke. And then he says if they show the picture to their parents, then she's gonna be in so much trouble. But it's like, for what? Like, she didn't do anything. She was literally with her class when that picture was taken. Like, she hadn't done anything yet. Like, at one point, Matt even says, oh, they must think Lizzie is this pop star, so she'd get in trouble for having a similar face. Like, that's stupid. And then this weird ass little girl like pulls out a briefcase of incriminating evidence, all specifically against Lizzie. Like, there are files and tapes and dates. Like, they are so well organized. Like a full-on CIA operation. And I don't understand. You are 11 and this is your sister/friend's sister. Like, someone please check his computer files. We are hit with yet another moped scene, but this time, the Hillary Duff Bangers. Paolo then takes Lizzie to, I guess, one of the biggest designers that he works with. Lizzie has to pretend to be Isabella to this room full of people that seem to at least be acquainted with and have at least worked with her before. And they cannot tell that this isn't what I would assume is also a 17-year-old. Because I assume Isabella is 17. Because if she is also 14, then we like need to talk about Paolo's habits. Like it's technically fine. I just don't like it. But I assume that Isabella is supposed to be 17. Either way, y'all can't tell this is not the same person? Like, yes, obviously, this is Hilary Duff in a wig. But y'all can't tell that it's two different people? Like, they judge her hair, which the hair, girl, that I have different hair every week. That does not mean anything. But the only thing that they're suspicious of is that she's blonde now, and not the fact that she does not have an Italian accent or understand anything that they're saying. They're not concerned that she's acting like they have never met before, because they have literally never met before. Just no one notices this is not the same person. But I'm not too mad about it, because right after that we get another fun montage. It's a series of silly dresses. Two of them are actually really cute though. Like I like the little mummy dress one. Because it's like so punk 2000s. It's fun. I love it. I like fashion. And then I like the igloo dress just because it's silly. It looked fun. It's completely impractical, but oh my god, it looks fun. And Lizzie is like, none of this fashion feels like me. And of course, Paolo says, well, it's not supposed to. You're Isabella. And she's like, well, you know what? We're going to compromise because I'm going to wear what makes me feel comfortable. If you want to get me out on stage and lie to millions of people, which, all right, I think that's fair. I think it's fair. The next scene doesn't really matter too much other than Lizzie is about to almost get caught again and Gordo has to distract Ungermeyer for her. And I was gonna breeze right past it, except there are two things that just bother the hell out of me. First, I really need her to stop letting him take her places she's supposed to avoid. There are only a handful of places that you're not supposed to be, okay? That's where your class is. Learn the damn schedule. Figure it out. Like, they keep getting caught because they keep going to places you're not supposed to be. Rome is big. Find another spot.
Be better.
Second, why'd I do this to Hilary's head? Why'd I do her like this? Because this shit was not in the last scene. It was not there at all. This was a fucking choice, and I don't appreciate it. Anywho, Paolo and Sergei now have to rush and sneak Lizzie back into the hotel before the group gets back. She is successful, but Kate calls her out on sneaking out of the hotel. She says that it's because of like her nails or some shit she could smell, that she had just gotten a fresh manicure. But I think she knew the whole time. Because I didn't notice it the first time that I watched this, but the last time I watched it, just for, you know, the purposes of writing the script and making this video, I noticed earlier when Lizzie was on the moped with Paolo and the bus was stuck behind them, Gordo was trying to distract Ungermeyer by like asking her random shit about some monument or something, and Kate is sitting right next to him, staring out the fucking front window. She can very clearly see Lizzie. They definitely made eye contact several times, and she didn't say shit, which, good job, Kate. Good job. Anyway, Kate now tells Lizzie that she knows, so Lizzie has to come clean. And then in comes Gordo, who tells them that she's on the cover of a magazine. And she's all like excited, and it's like, people gonna know. They gonna know. But Gordo tells Lizzie that not only is she going to be presenting an award with Paolo, she's actually going to be performing with him, which he never mentioned. And Gordo's like, you don't think it's kind of weird that he never told you about this before? And Lizzie just kind of like downplays it. And when he starts asking very fair questions, in my opinion, she makes it seem like he's overreacting. And then he just like straight up calls her out and is like, if you want to believe this random dude that you just met and think is cute over your literal best friend, then, you know, it's really fucking stupid, but have fun with that. And then this asshole shows up to the hotel. Like, he's fucking bold, man. He's bold and disrespectful. I hate him. Hate him. But he shows up early to pick Lizzie up, and Kate decides to cover for her. Come back to serial killer in the making, Matt Mcguire. Now he's trying to convince his parents that he like misses his sister and that they have to go get her. Which for whatever reason works, probably because her mom was crazy. And then they just decide to go get her. They decide to buy 3 round-trip tickets. Well, probably 4 if they're gonna like leave early with her. But yeah. 3 tickets to Italy last minute because you missed your daughter who is on a class trip and due to return in probably less than a week, and not because of anything that's going on with her. She doesn't even know you're coming. It's just because y'all miss her so much. Like, what do y'all do for money? I need to know. Like, what her daddy do? Lizzie is now confronting Paolo about why he wouldn't have told her about the show, and he tells her,
I wanted to tell you, but you told me not to telephone the hotel.
like he didn't just show up to the fucking hotel, horns ablazing, first thing in the morning, to the hotel that you just said you couldn't call. Also, you could have just told her when you asked her to pretend to be Isabella in the first place. Or like, literally any of the other times you talked to her. I hate this guy. I hate him so much. Anyway, so Paolo tells Lizzie that when they broke up, he and Isabella backed out of the performance, saying that she had voice issues. And the only reason they have to do it now is because the paparazzi saw him and Lizzie and they claimed that her voice was fine. And so, because they put it in the tabloids, the record label is going to sue if they don't perform. But that don't make any sense. Because when he asked her to perform as Isabella yesterday, he said that he had been planning since the first time he saw her at the fountain, before they ever took the pictures that ended up in the tabloid or even spoke. So, and then there's some random ass fountain running. I don't know. It looks nice. I don't know why they put it in the movie. I guess just, you know, to distract this young impressionable girl. Anyway, so now the Mcguires are on their plane, but Matt fucks up and ends up like showing, or like his parents end up seeing the snapshot of the tabloid picture. And so they see Lizzie essentially posing as Isabella, but they don't, because it's just a picture of Lizzie. Like that's literally it. It's not the actual magazine cover. It's just like a snapshot blown up of Lizzie's hand being kissed by a random Italian boy, which, okay. From the parents' point of view, I guess that could be concerning, but not for the reason that it should be. Because that could just happen. She's on a trip in Rome. For all you know, that's just like what they do there. Oh, you're very pretty. Here's a kiss. Like, giving a random rose to a lady. I don't know. What you should be concerned about is why the fuck does he have that? Like, that's bizarre. Also, why are you carrying that around? Like, they're already on the plane. They're already going there. So, like, I don't understand what the plan was. Why do you need that? Like, you already know that that's her. What were you going to bust her on? I saw a boy kiss your hand in another country.
For shame.
She tries sneaking out of the hotel again while Gordo tries his damnedest to cover for her. And as a result, actually ends up basically getting sent home. He tells Ungermeyer that he's actually been the one that's been sneaking out and that Lizzie isn't the one that's done anything wrong. And Ungermeyer is like, yeah, I always knew you were up to something. That makes so much sense. And it's like, he's literally been covering for Lizzie this entire time. So the only reason that you don't like him and you think that he's up to something is because of all of the things that he was doing to distract you, which means that he was there the whole time. How you gonna be there and not there at the same time, ma'am?
No, man, you can't appear and disappear at the same time. The picture ain't David Copperfield.
Like, she's so bad at her job. Also, why is the principal chaperoning a trip? Wild. So Lindsay? Who the fuck? That is not. So Lizzie ends up going to like a dance rehearsal with Paolo, but they're not even really fucking doing anything. Like, they basically start lip syncing and I guess dancing. It's more like swaying. They spun once. You know, man. Her outfit was real cute. That's literally all I got out of this scene. He's also like, you should have no problem lip syncing this song immediately because you obviously know all the words, right? Like, sure, I met you 4 days ago. I did not know you existed or made music before then. It's like, you know what? I get it. When I hear a new song that I really like, I'm gonna learn all the words, like, so quick. But you have spent pretty much every waking moment with him. So when were you listening to his music enough to learn the words? And then when Lizzie gets back to the hotel that night, she learns that Gordo actually got sent home trying to protect her, and she's all bummed. She's like, she doesn't even want to perform now, and Kate tells her that, like, if you don't, then basically Gordo did all of that for absolutely no reason, and you still shouldn't, but she's right. So Lizzie decides to go ahead with the show. But lucky for her, as Gordo was actually on his way to catch his flight, he sees none other than the actual Isabella, and she is not happy. She has seen the tabloids because of course she fucking has. Like, did y'all not think she was ever gonna come back from that island? Like, nobody thinks about shit, man. And now she's upset because clearly that is not her. She knows that's not her, but Gordo has the answer. Moving right along, we are now at the award show. Lizzie's popping out on the red carpet with yet another amazing outfit. And Gordo actually meets her backstage before the show, and he's trying to explain everything that's going on. It's like, Paolo is a fucking liar. He was trying to set up Isabella by setting Lizzie up, and he was basically gonna make it look like Isabella couldn't sing, even though he's the one that actually can't sing. And Lizzie doesn't believe him at first, which there's no reason for her not to believe him. Like, he's your best friend. He has never lied to you. And the only reason that you could think that he would possibly want to lie to you is if you think that he's jealous. And the only reason you would think that he would be jealous is if you know that he likes you. And if you know that he likes you, then you're the butthole. You're the butthole. And, like, I get it. Paolo's cute. Like, I don't think he's cute. She thinks he's cute. And she's young. She does not believe Gordo at first. And then Isabella shows up. And it's like, yeah, no, he's telling the truth. And then all of a sudden, like, I believe you. Also, I adore Hilary Duff. Like, her Italian accent is booty. It's booty, y'all.
Freaky, huh?
Way freaky. Way freaky.
Is butt. Essentially, Lizzie now knows that Paolo was a liar and that he was setting her up to set Isabella up. He cannot sing, and everything that he said about himself was actually true about Isabella. He does not write his own music, he cannot sing, and she was actually the one that wanted to do better in her career and was the one that left him. So he's so salty. Now the whole school is at the award show, and like her mom is trying to force her way backstage by saying, like, my daughter's performing, but nobody knows that. Don't nobody know you. Who are you? And it's time to perform. Paolo was basically gonna go out on stage and was gonna lip sync because he always lip syncs. And then he was gonna have Lizzie, like, sing live to show the world that Isabella can't sing. Basically, again, embarrass and humiliate Isabella, but, like, at no point did they ever check to see if Lizzie could sing? Because his whole fucking plan would fall apart if she can't. Like, yeah, she might not sound like Isabella, but like, you don't know that. You did not check. And of course, you know, she can. Side note, I really do like Hilary Duff's voice. No lie, I'm gonna be doing like a whole Radio Disney rabbit hole trip all while I'm editing this. It's gonna be so fun and I can't wait. But there are like 10 different voices when she sings. Like in most of her movies, but you can hear it in this one. That's so many people. It sounds real nice, but like it's clear, like that's, once you hear it, it's clear that it's spliced. No matter, she's cute and it's a fun movie. But anyway, back to the movie. So Paolo, unaware that the jig is up, goes out all confidently and starts singing and waits for Lizzie to come out and sound terrible, except she's lip syncing to Isabella's actual live voice. And then they cut Paolo's mic, so he accidentally sings with his real voice.
Sing to me, Paolo.
This is what dreams are made of.
Revealing to the world that he sounds like ass. And Thoroughly humiliated, he scurries away. And then instead of just like finishing out the song, walks out on stage to introduce Lizzie to the world. And then she just like skedaddles and leaves Lizzie there to like sing the song by herself, which I think is kind of fucked up because I don't think they discussed that. She just dipped. You're going to expose me and then leave? Like, what? Girl, I tried to help you. He's fine. Because then we get the fun pop experience that is what dreams are made of, which is like a bop to this day. But then like watching this, I couldn't help but wonder when they had time to rehearse this, like with the backup dancers and the lighting guys. Because it was very coordinated, like it was coordinated as hell. But like at one point they rip off the skirt part of her outfit and she's got like on a pantsuit. Like when did they have time? She just learned how to lip sync this morning. The rest of the movie wraps up pretty quick after that. Basically Lizzie has her fun pop star moment all the way through. She gets to perform in front of everybody. Her family's there, the class is there. She's so cool. They go back to the hotel. Kate and Ethan end up together again because we needed that to happen for some reason. Lizzie's parents are there and they're like very proud but also upset because, you know, she did all that shit that she didn't need to be doing. She had no business doing all that, but like she did good on stage, so yay baby. And then on the rooftop, Gordo finally gets a nice little smoochy smooch from Lizzie. Yay. So yeah, that is the Lizzie McGuire movie. Again, it is one that I enjoy so much. It's one of my favorites. I do love this movie. Like I said, I own it, so I'm gonna watch it again. I actually was watching it while I was putting my makeup on for this video, just because I enjoy it that much. It just is problematic for me in some aspects now that I know the truth. But if you like this video, go ahead and like the video. If you could go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can be notified of the next time I upload a video. I am trying to crank these babies out as quickly as possible, but obviously with, you know, care. I do care about the quality of the videos that I put out, and I only want to get better. So if you could follow me over on Instagram, suggest any movies that you would like me to watch. I have also started doing games on this channel just to kind of break it up a little bit and keep my mind kind of going without feeling like I'm doing the same thing or I'm just working. I don't want to make this feel like work, but it is, you know? Share this video with your friends or people that you know. You don't have to like them. I don't care as long as you like this video, and so do they. I will see you guys next week. Bye.
Move that thing or you want me to do it for you? What are you looking at? Piece of that? Piece of the Ungermeyer?
I'm not the kind of girl who gives up just like that.
Hey, Lord, Mcguire, did you not hear me say head check? 15, 16. Who are you?
Paolo Balasari.
Put your money in your front pockets.